All right. Well, welcome to audience of one. I appreciate you coming. This is the If They Can Do It, So Can I, a Q&A sit down with urban fantasy creators. All right. So what is urban fantasy? Urban fantasy is a story set in the city, basically. Fantasy can be set in a fictional universe, while urban fantasy specifically is set in real life. Examples I have here, I don't know if you're familiar with them. The Moon Called series by Patricia Briggs with Mercy Thompson and the Dresden Files. Those are just some prime examples a lot of people know about. So meet our creators. I'm Kayla, aka K.S. Garner. I'm an urban fantasy author. These are my books here, Unholy and Unbroken. They are available upstairs if you'd like to purchase. We have Adam Downing here, who is the writer of the comics here. Which one you put up? Offspring is the one you have up here. And
he's got another one too that he's not selling.
I do, yeah. Project.
So I need to figure out how to get him before he leaves this place.
And Mitch Bustillos here. What's that?
Necrobiotic.
Necrobiotic.
Nice.
All right. So yeah, as I said, I'm an urban fantasy author. My stories are set here in Baltimore City. They're about a woman named Misty Calloway. In the first book, Unholy, is her finding out about her powers. She has like these paranormal demon fighting powers. And in the second one is her honing her skills, finding out the responsibility that comes behind having those powers, and discovering new foes and allies here in the city. Adam, what is your story about?
Let's see. Offspring follows my main character, Riker. You know, he's a 26-year-old burnout. You know, he's lonely, he's depressed, he's stuck in like a dead-end job. So he kind of, long story short, you know, he's on the roof of his job site one night, and he runs into a shady group of folks. He investigates. They turn out to be werewolves, and that kicks off Offspring, basically. So it's a dark fantasy series that follows lichens and vampires and, you know, things of that nature.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Necrobiotic is based in the city of Florence. It mixes like all these different genres where it's post-apocalyptic, but the city is ripe and proper, I guess. Mainly, it's a world where because humanity is at the brink of extinction, they tan and program the dead to perform all the manual labor that is required for humanity to function. And so in this like dark and depressing world where most of your needs are taken care of, which is really cool, you're also faced with a lot of, I feel, mental challenges because of the landscape and just where humanity is. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. So where do you get the ideas of your stories from? And alternatively, where did the idea of your story or series come from? For me, I wrote mine. This was when I think the Freddie Gray protests were happening. And I just kind of wanted to come out of it for a little while. Just, I guess, like an escape from it. Like, these problems that exist don't exist in this world. She has more important things to worry about than, police brutality or, the violent environment that she lives in. She's kind of like I said, coming out of herself in a way. And I just thought, paranormal stuff is pretty cool and urban fantasy that I wanted to explore, because a lot of high fantasy kind of goes over my head a little bit, whereas Baltimore City I'm very familiar with. There's a lot of places that I describe in both books. There's the Washington Monument on Charles Street, Green Mountain Cemetery, the flea market in Patapsco, what else? And a lot of places on Lexington Market that are like, they're still there, but they like burned down and are not of use. But I describe some places like that in the city. So if you're familiar with it, you probably would know. I try not to name it specifically because I don't want to get in trouble. But if you're familiar with the city, then yeah, you would know what those places are. Yeah.
And Kayla, I love how you like incorporate like landmarks, like Baltimore landmarks into your stories, because I try to do that with my series Project Angel as well. And Mitch, I like how you built the world of Necrobiotic. That's insane. Like programming the dead to do your labor. I'm sorry. Anyway, all right. Where do I get all right. I got the idea for Offspring. So as I was shaping the world for like Project Angel and like the universe, there was like a bunch of ideas that I had scrapped, and I had like a whole lichen vampire story like kind of built out, or the beginnings of one. So I guess as I was looking to write my second story, I kind of took those pieces and I built out Offspring, and yeah, that's I don't know.
No, that's cool.
I mean, for me, it's like, it's probably with all the creative works I do is I like a sense of melancholy, and I'm a huge fan of Korean movies and a few like Japanese movies because they're okay with an unsatisfactory ending and like a sad one. And those are some of those stories I really enjoy. And so I wanted a place where like, you know, the ending won't be satisfactory, but the process by which you get to that ending, you're gonna share some stuff with people, and that's kind of where I like to keep the attention is, you know, despite everything else, how do you love people?
So could you elaborate a little bit more on your creative process from start to finish? Like, how did you start the story and all the stuff in between and then at the end?
I don't know, it's like that.
30 seconds or less.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what was it, that Ghibli meme where he's just like walking around his house, like the creator? It's just like, I wake up in the morning, I look at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, don't look at your phone. And then I look at my phone, and my anxiety shoots up to the roof because there's all these unanswered emails. And not only like, should there be writing, but no one's going to buy your writing if you don't do some marketing. So there's always like, answer this email, spend money on this. And so there's a mountain of anxieties that I will carry with me into that chair, stare at the blank screen, wonder why I'm not doing this chapter, and start working on another project that doesn't pay me as much money, and do a lot there and be like, I did it, and be like, crap, I really should do this one because this is what makes me money. But I think the only time I ever get like in the zone is if I can, like, it's usually like a sweet spot where I feel at ease and I just trust my creativity to just kind of splatter on the wall and make something that hopefully someone will enjoy, while watching like Swedish landscapes. I love like the YouTube videos where it's just like going over like those European landscapes, and it's like, oh, that's nice. That's, oh God, nature. I don't want to be in it, but it looks good on this screen. And that's probably it. I mean, it's wrestling with yourself because you have to like, I feel like you're writing with yourself. So if you don't really like yourself, it's a tough process.
Nice.
So yeah, how's your guys' morning going?
Yo, do you have ADD?
Yeah.
I identify with
Look, I was just like, after the anxieties, I'm like, all right, here's my antidepressants, here's the ADHD medicine, okay,
Yes.
here's my coffee, okay, let me get this all in, is it working?
Yes.
No, and I'm like biting my fingers, just like, oh God.
I didn't like, it's just like, oh my God, I have this project here, I got the script here, but like I'm supposed to be writing this.
Yeah.
It
It doesn't help when you got multiple screens too, because you're like,
Facts. I guess in terms of creative process, in terms of like writing a story, like, all right, I guess especially if anybody's like a novice writer, which I don't know, I'm a novice writer, so I always advise like everybody to look up The Anatomy of Story by John Truby. That's something that my father put me on to. He's a filmmaker and he loves that kind of stuff. So when I expressed that I was trying to write comics, he was like, yo, Anatomy of Story of John Truby. You know, I got me that book. I got a little PDF that like, what's it called? It just summarizes everything, so it's really quick and user friendly. But so I recommend everybody, like, if you don't know how to like write a story, if you've never like written a story before or structured a story, if you don't know how to, like, go to that. And then I just recommend that like you brain dump. Like most people, a lot of people have ideas for stories, and we all have like just a bunch of bits and pieces kind of in our heads, and we have like, maybe there's just like, we have like specific, like one specific scene that we really just wanted to get out here because it's so cool, but we don't know how to build a story around it. So like, just brain dump everything that's in your head onto a page, document, whatever, write it all down. Then, like I said, familiarize yourself with how to structure a story, anatomy of story, right? Figure out the beginnings, especially if you're gonna do, like, I had to get used to doing things in an episodic way because I'm doing issues with my comics. So if you're gonna do that, just kind of get your first issue, or if you're gonna do like a series, you know, your pilot your beginning of a story, and I don't know, just begin to fill things in from your brain dump, like get your ideas and like kind of fit them and format them into the structure, and just build it out from there, I guess.
Yeah, I like how there's like 3 different mediums of urban fantasy writing. We got like TTRPGs, we got comics, and then we got like novels, right?
Right. Yeah.
But all kind of sharing like similar themes.
Yeah, I mean, I just write. I don't really structure anything. I mean, I'll figure out where it goes at some point. So like I try to imagine, like I used to work at the Horseshoe Casino downtown, and that's how I put the Washington Monument on Charles, because I used to take that all the way home before I got on the 83. And I would just imagine what this would look like if it was at nighttime and stuff was going on, and how come no one's coming out of their house and investigating anything? Well, we live in Baltimore City, so yeah. But what it would look like in this, in this courtyard, on this street, or what have you. So yeah, I just kind of imagine what they look like, and then my characters kind of tell me what they want to do. I don't really, they should do this and they should do that. Like, no, they kind of tell me. I kind of think of them as actual people in a way. So that helps, and it's also like a disadvantage, because then it's like when I get a writer's block, I don't really know what to do with them. They're just kind of like on the page. But yeah, I just kind of write. I try to write with the ending in mind, and then I'll figure out how to get there. But that's what's actually holding me up with the 3rd book, because I don't know how it'll end. I don't want it to be sad or anything like that. I don't want to kill her, but I don't want anything to be all happy-go-lucky either. So yeah, I just kind of just write and figure out as I go. That's just how I am. And how I started it, actually, I started it writing it on sticky notes. Just random stuff on sticky notes.
Nice.
So
Where are those sticky notes? Are you gonna put them on eBay sometime?
probably, yeah. I still actually have them. I still have
heck yeah.
Yeah. How do you justify the cost of your works and/or services to consumers and customers? Because Mitch, I know you offer services in TTRPG. So like, how do you justify, like, hey, I'm providing a service to you, this is my rate, and they're like, maybe they try to negotiate it, but it's like, no, or maybe you try to like, how do you justify it in your head? Like,
Yeah. Look, I'm not great. I remember my first time applying for a marketing job at a TTRPG company. I was so excited. I was like, yeah, I would do this for free. That's like, I'm so excited for this. And my friends were like, God damn it, Mitchell, like, don't say that. They did pay me, so I was thankful for that. But I definitely should have came in there, because exposure is nice, but you can't put it out on your taxes. It don't feed. You can't get like DoorDash or ice cream in the middle of the night with exposure. And I've tried, right? I've tried. It doesn't work. So you actually need money. And if it's anything like the pandemic has kind of shown, is that people love entertainment, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, people put a lot of money into entertainment, and oftentimes that money is misused because it's kind of directed by these big shots who are just kind of they're having a great old time up there, and so you have movies like Avatar: The Last Airbender, which just makes me sad. When the best works are going to be your local people, like this stuff, right? You're going to find better content and more creativity with this than you will in most of Barnes and Nobles, because we do it because we love it and we believe in the thing that we do. It doesn't pay much, but at the end of the day, we can look at the product and be like, man, that was really cool, But in terms of cost and everything, I try, and it's something I'm struggling with, is trying to be like, this is what I'm worth. This is probably what you want to pay. This is probably what you should pay. And somewhere in the middle, we're going to meet. Because I remember when TTRPG books and stuff like that, people were starting to complain as the prices were going up from like $45, $30 to $50. They're like, oh man, but it's like, people don't understand the amount of money and work that goes into any of these fictions. It is years of training, and then it's years of like smacking yourself in the face and sticky notes and all sorts of stuff, late night coffees, wrestling, depression. all that stuff. So when someone picks up a book and they pay like the price that you're like, yeah, this is what I said, it feels so good because it feels like a full acknowledgement that, yes, I deserve to eat too, which is always nice. But it's always a hard negotiation because you as a creator are also negotiating with other people trying to make money, from the printers over in China and various other countries. China because they're like, that's pretty much where all the printing is done for the most part. There's a couple of places in the U.S. And a few other countries, but it's hard to beat China's rates. And then artists and stuff like that, like, it's a lot. Like a front cover for like this costs $1,000. And people look at it and they're like, oh, $50, gosh. And it's like, well, that front cover costs me a lot. So, and artists, need to be paid more. So do writers. I don't think I answered the question, but I believe I danced.
You did.
I danced around it enough, and I hope.
No, you answered it. Adam, what about you?
No, I actually agree. Like, I think I undervalue, like, my skill set as a writer, and I've been trying not to do that. But I guess I don't really try to justify the cost of, like, an issue of Offspring. It's $10 flat. One, I found that, like when I, analyzing my own spending habits, like, if I want to buy something, I don't really, like, if I really want to buy something, I'm going to spring for it. Like, I might, you know what I'm saying? So, that's one thing. And then two, like, I know, I'm not even trying to be arrogant, but I know it's a decent story. Like, I know what I have, so, it's worth it.
Yeah, I'm going to pay $20 for it. So,
you know what I'm saying? I appreciate
it.
Yeah,
I got you. So.
Yeah, right, I appreciate that. And enough people have expressed interest in this story that I know, like, it's worth $10. So.
Yeah, mine go for 10 each. I'm actually thinking of raising it to 12 when the third one comes out, just because I feel like, why not?
I think like 15,
yeah,
20.
Yeah. It's like, for me, it's like, how do I justify that to myself? I'm like, is it worth $15, $20?
Yes,
it is.
Okay,
man.
I'll think about it.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like part of it is like what's more important than the money is the affirmation of someone just picking up the book and leaving with an exchange of money. And I think sometimes that's more important than the actual money. So we're just like, okay, it's $10.
And also, like, you need to value your product. Like, if you expect people to, like, you need to treat your product like any other fantasy book you would buy at, like, Barnes & Noble. Like, you need to, I don't know, like, that's one thing also I was looking at, the big dogs in the indie comics space. I was looking at what they were pricing their issues at, and I was like, all right, bet. They're pricing theirs at 10 flat. I'm pricing mine at 10 flat. Cool. Even if I'm not even there, it's just like, why not, That's what I feel it's worth. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, the only difference between you guys and them is they have the publicity, and that's it. Like, quality and stuff like that, it's all there. It's just, the roll of the die is if you are lucky enough to get, like, someone who can push your stuff with a greater reach, and that's it. Because, like, there's no difference between quality of this stuff and, like, what people would deem as the major hitters.
right.
Yeah. So how did or do you maintain world building and consistency in your world's rules and lore? For me, well, werewolves and vampires and demons and stuff like that is not new. That lore is kind of already out there and it exists already, so I don't really change a lot of it. As far as it, I just try to keep it simple. Gravity still exists. Fire still hurts people. It still burns the skin. Stuff like that. Just try not to change too much. I add a little bit of stuff in there as far as like astrology type stuff, but not too much because I don't want the astrology girls to come after me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I just write everything down and try to keep like a PDF of everything. Yeah, and just try to keep it simple. Like I said, my stuff already kind of exists in the world. Yeah, I try not to go too far with it for my stuff at least.
I remember one time someone was like, "But how does the programming work for the dead? Like, can you explain?" And I'm like, if I knew, I wouldn't be writing books. I would be doing that. I would be at the graveyards. But I don't know how it works. I'm gonna spit some scientific whatever, but none of it's true. So like,
Right.
Yeah, I feel like with like fantasy, urban fantasy, sci-fi, what have you, this is your world that you can build. It can be anything that you want it to be. I mean,
Right.
things still has to be rules, still has to be like laws and like some type of practicality in the world. But at the end of the day, it's still yours, and you can build it however way you want to. You know, it's just like, for me, how does racism still exist? How does sexism still exist? Or whatever it is still exists in your world. You can make it whatever you want it to be. Right? So that's why in my stories, they don't really exist. I focus more on the supernatural stuff because I already deal with that other stuff in real life. I don't want it in my stuff. So that's just me.
Nice. I think to help me maintain consistency, I guess, across my stories, and also you mentioned writer's block in one of the previous answers. One thing that helps me with that also, because I know you said like I don't really do outlines. I would absolutely push like outlines or like outlines, things like that, like structuring, like having certain like established things that you know are gonna happen in your story.
Well, yeah, I'll write out a scene and I'll put in like brackets in bold letters. Something happens right here. I don't know what it is, but something happens right here, and then the rest of the stuff happens.
I just have
Put
titles.
something right there.
Yeah.
What I wrote this week was like T-Rex Parmesan crusted chicken recipe. And I was like, okay, how do I get the measurements right? And I spent like 3 days trying to figure this out. Be like, yeah, you know, back when I was young, me and Ma used to make me some T-Rex Parmesan chicken. It was good. And I was like, okay. So that was me. If I just have a title that's silly and stupid, I feel like I can fill in the rest.
Yeah, pretty much. Like just having things like set, and then like I also identify with what you said, like letting your characters guide you through the story.
Yeah.
That's how I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, kind of like doing like a mixture of both. And yeah, that's how I like maintain like consistency. Like I keep like a Bible, like an outline of, you know, like something that outlines like my entire universe, like between, you know, Project Angel, Offspring, whatever other series we're gonna come out with, like, you know, like the foundations of like this universe. And then we kind of just take chunks of that, and like that's a series right here. Like, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I need to be more like you guys.
Not at all. I mean, we all have our own process.
Yeah, we all have our own little quirks.
I'm trying to find more structure with mine because sometimes I'm just staring at the screen like.
Same. I feel like that's a lot of writing though, is just like staring at a screen.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point where I had to change the color of the paper to like a light green, help my eyes, because it was like burning
I
my
should
eyes.
do that too.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Nice.
What has been the most challenging thing you faced or overcome since starting your creative endeavor? For me, it's the financial stability or instability, and my mental well-being, because it kind of comes in waves, and it is connected with money. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Like with Baltimore Comic-Con I just did last weekend, I made like $100, $150 profit, which I wasn't expecting at all, and it was like slow on Friday, so I was like getting really anxious. For something like that, for those who are listening and you guys are here, I would recommend just like splitting the table, because you earn your money back faster that way. As far as my mental well-being, it comes in waves. A lot of it is just like being anxious and doubting myself and doubting my work, and will it ever be finished by the deadline that I set for myself? Am I working myself into a hole? What am I doing? Yada, yada, yada. You know, a couple of good cries, maybe a nap or two, and some water, you know.
Crying and napping like that.
And like getting some fresh air, like going walk my dog or something. And,
Well, I don't do that. I don't go outside. No.
Open the window, get some fresh air or something like that. Well, yeah, that has helped me. But yeah, that's probably the most challenging thing is the financial part and the mental well-being part for me.
Yeah, I would say just like the cost of illustration is probably like the biggest thing for me. Yeah, like the cost to get these things illustrated, 100%. And then also Marketing. Actually, no, marketing. Marketing's, yeah, because it's like, yeah, no, I thought it was illustration. It's marketing, actually. Like, and nobody, like, I don't know, I feel like everybody hears it when they first start doing something, when they first start writing something, but, like, nobody pays attention to it until it's, like, they're done. Like, oh, I have a book. Does anybody want to read it? And nobody wants to read it because they posted it once on their Instagram they created a month ago. And, so, like, yeah, marketing. Those are two things that marketing especially is like a huge learning curve that I'm encountering right now. So
Yeah. I mean, it's like we have to wear all these different hats.
definitely.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to wear that hat. I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
Don't make me wear it.
Don't make me wear it.
But you have to, like, and especially like marketing with the like shifting of social media and stuff like that. It's hard to keep up with trends. And then there's some places where you can't just go to market for specific times. Like Reddit is one of those places where you have to be part of the community and be active like most of the week in order for you to then market. Otherwise, if you pop in like one day and be like, I have a Kickstarter, they'll be like, who the hell are you? Get out of this place. And so like it's either you're working every day hoping to bear that fruit later, or you're just leaving that marketing place out and it's like go. And then getting like the correct SEOs and like with Facebook and Instagram and targeting the correct people, trying to get like the tags and everything just right. And of course, you know, Twitter has a new CEO, so they have to figure out what the heck's going on with that advertisement opportunity. And yeah, and it could get really expensive. I know like for Chew, the TTRPG, which is based on the comic book of the same name, I think we spent like $1,000 or maybe $2,000 marketing to get it on. I think it was Hyper RPG. It's a California studio, and we had the actor from the video game High School series GM, and so there was a couple other actors who were part of it. And I was like, that's so cool. I was like, this is gonna be great. Like, they're gonna have so much reach. Man, like they played the game. It was a really cool game, and they did a great job. But like, it didn't really bring anyone more to buying the product. So sometimes it's just like, it feels like magic. It's like blowing on like your modem and be like, are you a little bit faster now? Okay, whatever. Yeah.
It's just weird. Definitely.
Do either of you have any advice that you are willing to share that you wish someone would have told you before you first started?
Marketing. Yeah, seriously, like think about it. Especially like, yeah, once again, if I'm talking to a new writer, like somebody who's about to start like writing a comic specifically, I'm gonna tell them like, after I direct them to Truby, I'm gonna be like, and while you're figuring out how to write your book, figure out who you're writing for, figure out where they hang out, and figure out like how you can connect and like market to them, honestly. And just keep doing that alongside, you know, while you write your thing. Mm-hmm. That's, yeah.
Yeah, do testing parameters concerning on how you're going to project interest, because like the back of the books are usually interesting, but people don't usually pick up and read it unless like the front is enticing enough for you to pick it up. And so there's many times when I was doing marketing and TTRPGs and stuff like that, when someone would come up to me, and it was hard because I was like, it's not going to market well, because what you've brought to me isn't something that I can work with, and I'll do my best, but there's limitations because the art is like 80% of the market, the marketing aspect. So if that's not on point, then it's just, you're pushing a rock up the hill. So be friends with your artists, work with them, make it really good, your presentation to the public, because everything rides on that.
Nice.
I would just say, as far as with the writing, since I pretty much did all the work and then the cover artist and the editor, I would say just stay local when you're trying to sell your stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's how you really like get an audience and or Fanbase or whatever it may be, it's just staying local for a while. Don't try to go for the big stuff like Baltimore Comic Con, which is like $300 for a table, and the prices are going up next year. Yeah, like I think Adam, you said it, just kind of like know who you're writing for and having an enticing cover and artwork. Those are the type of things that people kind of go for. It's like the covers. That's what draws people in, and then they'll pick it up and look at the back of it and whatnot. So yeah, just kind of stay local for a while before you try to go to the big leagues. Do either of you have anything else you wanted to add, or do we have any questions before we end? No?
Yeah, I'm good. Do you guys have any questions?
Anything you all wanted to learn about writing your own stuff, or?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't know if you covered it. I'm sorry if you did. How do you deal with originality? You know, because they say that everything's been done.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, how do you balance that with your own vision?
Yeah, I had issues with that in the first book, Unholy. Like I said, werewolves, vampires, demons, paranormal stuff has already been written, ghosts and whatnot. I think what draws people in with my book is that it's a dark-skinned African-American woman on the cover. It's set in Baltimore City, which and brings in a lot of people. Yeah, it's not, I try to tell people, like, there's not any sex in it or anything like that, because I know, me being a Baltimore native, a lot of stories and a lot of narratives that we hear about Baltimore is like, it's super violent, hypersexualized, drugs, and so forth like that. And it's, I mean, there's violence in it and there's swearing in it, but that's pretty much where it stops for me. So I think that's what kind of sets me apart, because when I see, you know, mothers and fathers and kids come up to the table and they see themselves on these covers, I think that kind of sets me apart from a lot of other urban fantasy authors and whatnot. So.
Cool. So like you saying like asking like for like writing advice, or just like in terms of ourselves?
Yeah, just dealing with the process, and I guess being original and or not being original. How do you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with the statement that like nothing is original. I think a lot of us, like, everything's been done before, so it's about like, yeah, how like you put your own spin on it, like how I don't know, like the way our werewolves and like our vampires function, like it's not, I don't know, it's like they use this like dark magic called Dark Emmy. You know, they weren't like their whole origin story. I can't like spoil that, but I don't know. There's like
I bought it, so don't spoil it.
yeah, I got you. I don't know. I guess the art for this story keeps it unique.
Yeah, because it's in black and white, right, or something like that.
Yeah, it's black and white. It's just like gritty, like
Yeah, I think that's what makes it different, because it's not a lot of comic books that are like in black and white.
True, and just like I don't know, story wise, I don't really worry too much about being original. To be honest, like these stories just pop out my head. I don't know. Maybe I don't. To be honest with you. So.
I think us three look at everyone here, and we're looking at different things, different perspectives. When I look at Scott, I'm like, sexy cowboy. But everyone else here looks at him and probably might be thinking about something else. So I think,
Not anymore.
yeah, not anymore. I mean, they should know. But I think a lot of times we like to think of everyone like thinking the same and we're the same and stuff like that, but we have such vast different perspectives on things, and it's hard to sometimes acknowledge, because then it kind of like, I feel it kind of puts distance when it shouldn't. It should be a celebration of like, you look at the world a little bit different, and that's really cool, and I appreciate that. And so in the same way, like creative people, they're putting their perspective in the book, and it will always be different from everyone else's, because everyone's unique and interesting, and like perspectives, like we're all just very different, which is really, really cool. And you know, they're going to put stuff in their books that I would never even think about, and will probably steal later. But yeah. I'm taking your book, so I'm just saying.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, that's something I find a lot when looking at like everybody around me. Like, I know I have like unique ideas and like different things that nobody else thinks of, but then I look around and I see other people do that as well. Like that's really true. So.
Thank you for your question. I appreciate it. Any other
Best
questions or comments or anything anyone else wanted to share before we end? No?
You said your book is currently $10.
Yeah, it's one for 10.
So,
Or yeah, 10 each or whatever.
so you could do like $11.99 or or $29.99 for all three. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna do it. I was gonna do 12 for one, and then 20 for both, or like 30 for all three, or something like that.
Yeah.
So instead of like 12 each.
I try to make it even because I don't want to deal with like sales tax
Yeah.
counting. So like when I'm at a con, I'm just like, it's this price and it's whole, and please don't make me like break us any sort of bill. I don't want.
All right. So yeah, I mean, that's it. Thank you all for coming and asking your questions and listening to us ramble about our stuff. Again, I'm K.S. Garner, the urban fantasy author of Unholy and Unbroken. Again, the third one, Unleashed. I'm hoping to have out this time next year. Hopefully before then, because Artscape is coming back. Thank you to Adam Downing.
I guess.
Right, the comics writer of Offspring, and what was the other one?
Project Angel.
Project Angel.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep.
We can
And-
buy.
Subsequent issues out. 2023. Yep.
Yeah, and Mitch Bustillos.
Yeah, Mitch Bustillos, you can. That's my pen name. It's for most of the stuff. So Necrobotic will be coming out, physical copy. Next month, you can buy it on drive-thru with PDF, and of course, Chew is another TTRPG that's coming out, and I have a Kickstarter coming out in January that features Army Men, so it should be interesting and cool.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, thank you again for all coming. I appreciate you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.